This the people party.
Live from the Blue Note. Live from the Blue Note. Live from the Blue Note. Live from the Blue Note.
Live from the Blue Note. Come on.
Peace and love, party people. It's the BKMC, the MCEO, the Little Lebowski Urban Achiever, Talib Kweli, in the place to be. We are in Napa Valley. It's beautiful. The sun is shining. I want to shout out De La Soul because we just did an interview with De La Soul and we didn't have no umbrellas. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
And so these are my brothers and they powered through it. But now we got some umbrellas, you know what I'm saying? Because we're learning on the job. We're here at the Jazz Festival. And shout out to everybody who's performing, including Big Frida, who's on stage now. Big Frida, of course, is People's Party, family, and alumni.
Good.
Word is bond. Today's guest is absolutely foundational to what I do as a musician. Me being a black man born in America, me being a hip hop artist, me being someone who does music that's sample based. I can't overstate how important this man's contributions to not just my life, but to the culture are. Some of his albums include Some of My Best Jokes Are Friends, R&B Skeletons in the Closet, Computer Games, Cinderella Theory, Hey Man, Smell My Finger. It's too many to name. Gangsters love this music. With his group Parliament, he had an iconic run and still have an iconic run. We got Up for the Downstroke, Chocolate City. We call DC Chocolate City because of this group, Mothership Connection, the clones of Dr. Funkenstein. He got a lot of aliases, by the way, because he says aliases never get old. With his group Funkadelic, we got the self-titled debut album, Funkadelic, the incredibly titled Free Your Mind and Your Ass Will Follow, America Eats Its Young, Cosmic Slop, Standing on the Verge of Getting It On, Let's Take It to the Stage. It's too many. One Nation on the Groove, Uncle Jam. It's too many to name. He will be around for as long as fun is around. Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, a pioneer of Afrofuturism, Dr. Funkenstein, Star Child, the Prime Minister of Funk. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the incredible George Clinton in the place to be.
Thank you, Kweli. Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother.
You know, damn, that sounds like a lot of work there, but
that's a lot of work.
I'm just getting started, man.
Hey.
I'm just getting started. You can see all the names of the things you just mentioned. You know, that's the backdrop of about 50 years, 55 years.
Yeah.
Starting with doo-wop back in New Jersey.
That's right.
By way of Motown, by way of Canada.
That's right.
By way of LA, you know. So I've been getting around and having a chance to meet a lot of styles of music. And I participated with a lot of kids that came up after us. And I've enjoyed that, being a part of the history of, say, the birth of rock and roll, right through my years of being with Motown, really wanting to be a part of that family, which is what fueled a lot of my energy, wanting to be part of that.
Right.
Wanting to live up to working with, you know, Ray Gordy in the New York office, that we had to form our own part of Motown by doing Funkadelic, because they moved to LA right about the time we got out there and got our first hit record. So
Barry Gordy is a very ambitious man.
Yeah, and you know, Smokey has been one of my favorite role models all my life.
There's an argument to be made that that might be the greatest songwriter of all time, Smokey.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, he's definitely up in there. Oh, he's definitely, I mean, Motown had a bunch of great songs there. But he's definitely in that top 5.
Yeah, he's one of the goats.
I don't know nobody that...
No, I mean, you one of the goats, too. You in the top 5, too.
No, not that was another thing. I had another career, another style.
Right.
You know, I participated.
I know you're more improvisational.
Yeah. But that brother's lifestyle has always been something to admire.
This bucket hat, I'm sorry, I'm distracted by this hat. Where can I get this hat?
Oh, yeah.
I need to sell it on my website. Do you see this hat that he's wearing? And look, you know, right now is the age of the bucket. Like, the bucket hat never really went away. But right now, they really own the bucket hats. That's crazy right there.
Oh, like I said, this is the best backdrop to a lot of history, a lot of culture. Yeah. My wife did this. You know, she got P-Funk on everything.
No doubt.
In my house, on the rugs and everything. So it's part of that merch.
Now, you have the hat on, but it used to be the elaborate hair.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm 82 years old. I just had my birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Okay.
But I know that you started in the barbershop and started with the hair.
Well, that was the backdrop for us being able to to rehearse and prepare to be a singing group. We wanted to be the
doo-wop.
Temptation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to find a job that allowed us to practice together. So the whole group, the 5 singers, used to work doing hair, and we made people cool.
Yeah.
We did the do's in the process.
Yeah.
To James Brown said, cut your do off.
Right.
The afros came in.
He went back though to the dude. He went back.
You know, it's nothing but styles.
Yeah.
All things
Styles,
that
that's
go
right.
around, all of it go around. And
Being free means being free, right?
being free, all of it. Free your
do what
mind
you
or your
wanna do.
ass will follow.
That's right.
Free of the need to be free.
Free of the need to be free. That's bars. I just had to pause on that one for a second.
Oh, this-
That's bars. Some people, I've heard it said that the barbershop is a country club for black men.
Well, there's definitely a meeting spot.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely a meeting spot, you know.
Yeah.
Folks hang around and play checkers and cards and dominoes and talk shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the place to kick it.
That's right. You started to talk about this a little bit with how you were into the rock and roll, and then we started working with Motown. Talk to us about working with Vanilla Fudge and being influenced by Jimi Hendrix, and how that sort of rock and roll Marshall amp sound starts to come into the Parliament Funkadelic cipher.
Okay, well, you got to imagine coming out of Motown. Motown was the slickest doo-wop R&B that has ever been. And right at the point when we got our first hit record, I Want to Testify, they were peaking.
Great record, by the
Now
way.
you're getting the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Cream, Led Zeppelin and Jimmy, and they're beginning to be the primary thing on pop radio, just as we get a hit record. And we could read that it was changing. Motown went to L.A. for the movie thing. That was being the beginning of that. So we had to make a serious change. And we picked the guy we knew, and the guy we knew was Jimmy James and the Flames, was Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
We saw what he had done with psychedelic, and it was loud blues.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at it.
Loud, yeah.
Vanilla Fudge, we played with them on a show in New York, and we saw the amps they were using. We figured out this is how Jimmy's getting that loud music, giant Marshall amps. We went back to Manny's musician store in New York, bought all the amps they had. We had 20 amps on the stage. We became the loudest R&B band you had ever heard.
Right. Now that record, Maggot Brain, right?
Yeah,
Amazing record.
That was the end of that, what I was telling
Yeah.
you. That was the beginning. And we had conquered that psychedelic sound. Start with Free Your Mind, Your Ass Will Follow. Maggot Brain, we peaked it.
That guitar solo.
Eddie Hazel.
Eddie Hazel, rest in peace, is to take a word from the movie Almost Famous. It's incendiary.
Our intentions.
All those amps.
Yeah, those amps, the feedback, to be able to master that feedback, which is what Jimmy did so easily.
Yeah.
Eddie was a student of that. Plus, he was a church boy, so he had all the soul in the world.
Right, like them church boys do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, we just modeled out from using our Motown experience to come up with something new.
Yeah.
And we, by that time, you know, having been a songwriter on Broadway, I'd watched a lot of New York stuff, you know, from the Elvis Presley, you know, all of those people come
Jerry
to
Lee
get
Lewis.
songs. Jerry Lee Lewis, we watched everybody come to get songs.
Yeah.
We knew the style is just like the barbershop.
Yeah.
Styles come and go.
Yeah.
So we was never partial or married to any style.
Right.
Consequently, we had a little bit of all kind of styles.
Yeah.
Which was psychedelic in itself.
Yeah.
You couldn't pin us down.
That initial Funkadelic album, I feel like that's sort of a really strong forebearer of hip hop.
Oh yeah.
I bet you, it was covered by Jackson 5.
Yeah.
Beautiful cover, in my opinion. Beastie Boys, Common, EPMD, Ice-T, all sample this. The song What Is Soul, to me, starts to define the aesthetic of the group.
That was like, we were saying that actually.
Yeah.
What is soul?
What is soul?
You know, it's anything with that feeling get in there, we could end up calling it funk.
Right.
And we refused to let them change the name, even when it wasn't the most popular music. It comes back as the DNA in hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, no matter which coast you're on, they pick a version of that, whether it was Funkadelic, the old records like you saying, which was Rock Kim, Public Enemy, a lot of New York, Off, Flashlight, Knee Deep.
All the later records in the West Coast.
What's it called? G-Funk.
Yeah, G-Funk, yeah.
You know, then there was, you know, the South, the dirty South.
Yeah.
There was a lot of,
Zero and Scarface.
Yeah, Outkast.
Yeah, Outkast. So, okay, let me talk to you about Outkast for a second. Since you brought up Outkast, right? One of my favorite songs that you've ever done is Synthesizer.
Synthesizer.
Right? And I think you are underrated as a lyricist. I think, can I read the lyrics for a second just because I want to have them on record, right? Conceived under the influence of toxic, wasted doctors, computer bugging, debugging devices, and vice versa, and various viruses, performing with laser-like precision and verbal incision for a linguistic, ballistic lobotomy, mind-fucking you, a psychosodomy of the medulla oblongata, exit your mind down your spine and out your behind. This is lyrical acumen. This is the highest form of lyricism.
Well, it's like, talking shit. It's like when my verb words jumps into action, adjectives agitate, describing your reaction. Like possessive nouns, they cling to one another. Dangling participles, cliff hanging at the conjunctions while if ands are getting butt fucked. And synonyms, antonyms, homonym, rock him, Eminem and them, slanging slang, popping puns for fun. When words come into play, they do it that way.
Word up. Now, before we move on,
Word up.
Before we move on from the Funkadelic album, how do you roll a joint with toilet paper? I need to know.
No, that was just a mental.
I was like, because I was like, yo, with toilet paper,
that shit is nasty.
Like the funk.
I've seen people try it.
Now, with Free Your Mind Ass will follow, you have spoken about the impact of this album. Brilliant lyric, brilliant mind state. Y'all wanted to see if y'all could do a whole album on acid.
Yeah.
So how much is psychedelics and those type of drugs a part of the funkadelic process?
We partook. On that particular record, it was like church for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, even people that didn't do it appreciated people that did it.
I've heard you call it witch doctoring.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of, but you look at virtual reality that we're experiencing now. It was like that for then, but it was drug induced. But the whole society at that moment was in a pursuit of something they call peace and love. Now that was corny as hell coming from where I came from.
Right.
You supposed to watch your back. Right. But we got to hung out there with all these thousands of people that was feeling that, and that war ended. It was all about that war. Yeah. But the main thing was that once the war ended, you was back on your own. It was like a warranty. It didn't cover no more time after that war because everybody got back to, we got to go to work. Yeah. We got, all those dreams kind of ended.
That's interesting. I never heard that perspective.
And then, you had the COINTELPRO. Yeah. That was you had some help in coming to that decision because you was no longer a cool hippie or whatever you want to call it. You was crazy. Yeah. So everybody changed again and went back to that 2 cars in a swimming pool of money, and money always wins out. And the drugs you got after that are very legal nowadays, but they do the same messed up thing that those street drugs was doing once they started that. How much do it cost? Yep. Once that money got into it. Yep. That whole concept of trying to drug it out.
Right, Big Pharma.
Big Pharma got that, and you're left to come up with these crazy versions of it that kids run, that they do nowadays. And it's just like us, they have to experience it. We have to figure out a way to talk to each other.
Yes, indeed.
And I have no thought about I'm like 80 years old. I'm out of that.
Well, I mean, you gave us the blueprint. At that time, you making America Eats Us Young, which is a great title. Yeah. It's like an anti-war album.
Yeah. But that was the softest album that we had. the imagery of it scared the hell out you. Yeah. Statue of Liberty eating babies with hypodermic needles and, that whole thing. It's
beautiful.
And it's $1 bill. Yeah. It was meant to give you that, but the songs was like biological speculation. Yeah. Sitting here vibrating and we don't know what we're vibrating about. The animal instinct in me makes me want to defend me, makes me want to live when it's time to die. Y'all see my point? I don't mean to come on strong, but I am concerned. I believe in God, and I know that law and order must prevail. But if and when the laws of man are not just, equal, and fair, then the laws of nature will come and do her thing. She does not think. She works by instinct. Survival is her thing. Y'all see my point?
Man, these words are so powerful, brother. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Don't be scared. Don't be scared, y'all. This is around the time that Bootsy comes into the fold, right, in this album.
Yeah.
Around this time.
That was, yeah. He first came as part of Funkadelic, and we had Bootsy in there for a minute. But Bootsy was a Bootsy. You know what I'm saying? He had to
That's perfect.
He had to be his own thing.
Yeah.
And we recognized that immediately.
Immediately, yeah.
So I say, you cut some songs with us. I'll put a group for you together. And we got the members of his band with his brother. We call it Bootsy's Rubber Band. So we did a compilation of songs from Chocolate City, Let's Take It to the Stage, right through Mothership Connection, along with Bernie Worrell, Gary Scheider, and we call it the P-Funk Mob. Once we put Bootsy there with us, with his band, there was at least 25 of us.
Right, that's a mob.
Like one group, along with the Pat Lewis and her sisters, who was Hot Butter and Soul with Isaac Hayes.
That's right.
She was part of the first Funkadelic album.
Right.
When I went to Detroit. So that whole family stayed together all the way up to Atomic Dog. In the studio, Junie Morrison joined us from the Ohio Players, One Nation and Knee Deep. David Spradley joined us with Atomic Dog, Nubian Nut.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of members that came in and out. Felipe Wynn from the Spinners was there. But we all recorded with each other. The Parlettes, the Brides of Funkenstein.
Yeah.
All of those.
I love the Midwest connections. Didn't you at some point you started working with Roger, right? Like,
oh yeah, Roger.
as Dayton, as Ohio too.
Bootsy and Roger knew each other as kids. We got Roger.
Yeah, that More Bounce.
We did that More Bounce in the house. That was, that was right in the One Nation Flashlight Knee Deep time.
Flashlight, Bernie Worrell, Bernie, rest in peace to Bernie. I got to know Bernie because he was in Yasin Bey's band.
Yeah.
Playing keys. And so I got to tour with him a little bit, got to know him. And talk to us about him working on Flashlight.
Bernie, you got to know, we knew him in grade school. He went off and went to Berkeley in Boston, Juilliard, and got his classical training. So when he got with us, he had mastered the Moog and all of the first keyboards that Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Yes, all those groups. He got that down. So by the time we got around to Flashlight, Bootsy was in that. Bootsy straight James Brown.
Yeah.
Kind of his brother had that pocket. But instead of putting a real bass on this track that Bootsy and his brother did, I took Bootsy's bass off and I put Bernie on the bass playing a Moog, playing like Larry Graham.
Yeah.
That's his interpretation. He was doing what he thought Larry Graham would do on bass, but being on a Moog, it was the brand new sound. Flashlight is a keyboard.
Yeah.
And everybody started doing the bass on keyboards
right.
after that.
Flashlight is, I believe, your most sampled record.
I don't know. I don't.
Out of all the records that people have sampled that you've worked on, do you have a favorite out of all the hip-hop records? Not even hip-hop, just records that sampled you or the group.
It's hard because for different reasons, like, say, Humpty Dance, for the reason that the way their style, that's one of the, that it was sampled more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
Their version of Let's Play House, which was off of our record. That record was bigger than everything. It was sampled more than everything. But that's one, and the way Public Enemy used to sample, they used to write arrangements with different samples.
The Bomb Squad is highly underrated.
Yeah,
and they did that first Ice Cube album as well.
Shockley, that whole Hank Shockley.
Yeah.
That whole vibe, they made arrangement of multiple samples.
Layered and layered. Like a wall of sound, as
right. You could actually go back and play that with the instruments. And it'd be its own thing.
Yeah.
But lots of people had some great versions of it.
Now, Mothership Connection. If Funkadelic was the album that was the one, Mothership Connection was the two, in terms of like hitting hip hop in the face. Like these records, the songs on this album is so important to hip hop. Like it's hip hop does not exist.
I mean, Mothership Connection album.
Without that album, that era.
Yeah, the Chronic did have quite a bit of
the Chronic and other records like Tear the Roof Off gives us MC Hammer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That gives us MC Hammer sound.
Yeah.
The movie Undercover Brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The way that music is used.
Yeah, they used to play Cosmic Slop.
Cosmic Slop. Let's talk about Cosmic Slop for a second. My father collected records, but Cosmic Slop was a deep cut.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that record.
Yeah, that wasn't a single.
Yeah, so the first time I heard the phrase Cosmic Slop was Redman had a song called Cosmic Slop.
Yeah, and
it was Eric
He was the
Sermon.
Redman Devil.
Yeah,
He's from my home.
That's right. He's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Redman was early. Like
Brick
Redman,
Cities.
He's the funk Dr. Spot,
Yeah.
the Funkadelic Devil.
Oh, no,
he's
was that all
a
the
child of this.
Yeah, he was there early too when he was a kid.
He was DJing.
I knew him. Yeah.
But Reggie had this Cosmic Slop record. And just that phrase Cosmic Slop, I was like, that's such an ill way to describe a sound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I came to learn it was y'all record. Man, this Cosmic Slop
Have
record.
you seen the movie?
We had Reggie Hudlin on this show. Now, I watched Cosmic Slop on HBO as a kid with my pops when it came out. And I would mention it to people. No one knew what I was talking about. I'm like, it's this, look. It
was banned as soon as it came out.
Yo, I'm like, the aliens came to take all the black people. George Clinton is in it. People didn't believe me.
They're back.
Yeah, man, it's great. Shout out to Reggie Hudlin.
Yeah.
He's a George Clinton super fan.
Right out of college, from St. Louis. I knew his mother and father right out of, when they first came to college, they was intellectual funketeers.
Yes, that's a very special family. And they come from very academic roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good black folks right there. Black excellence right there.
Yes.
House Party, the way he used you in House Party.
Yeah.
The brothers used you in House Party is amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
I've cracked one over the head with the record.
Right. Take it to the stage, sucker. Like just the way that introduced that, and I think cinematically that and Atomic Dog in Menace to Society reintroduced your music to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Mothership Connection, P-Funk, the shows start to get spectacular. Now we got the Mothership coming down. Where did that come from?
That had to be a part of the momentum that I was feeling being with Casablanca Records.
Okay.
Knowing the history of Neil Bogart and Cecil Holmes, how much they promoted records. I'd watched them my whole career up until that point. I knew we was on some capable hands of being seen. So I told Neil, help me get a space. We got a hit record. Mothership, it was a hit. So before we take the royalties, which I know we ain't gonna get all of them anyway, get me a spaceship, get me a line of credit.
Right.
And he got the spaceship. I knew how to take a spaceship and not only take Mothership Connection, but to take Bootsy's Rubber Band, to take Brides and Parlette, and all of that on a trip that we didn't have to turn. I watched Pink Floyd with their big productions.
The Wall and all that. Yeah.
We wanted to be bigger, not only than any black group, but bigger than any group.
That's right.
When we came out with that prop, so we got almost $1 million spaceship prop that lasted for 15, 20 years. And we were still riding it in 94.
Yeah.
We were still riding that.
Which is why when Dr. Dre comes with Let Me Ride, and sampling that record,
they sampled the video.
They sampled the video. That's what and that's the first time I had seen that. I didn't grow up seeing that.
First time I seen that.
Heard up. Now you on MTV, like, okay.
Because we didn't get on MTV the first time.
That's right.
But the second time around, we did, and I'm buying my time now.
Right.
I know how the business work, and you grow, and I was out there like most star entertainers when they peaking. We was out there having fun. I wasn't taking care of all the kind of business that you do, but I knew I had to clean it up, and when I cleaned it up, I would catch everybody off guard, and I finally did that. And at that time, I was able to recapture the copyrights.
Yeah.
Getting all the copyrights back now. Fight for our legacy with all the family members, getting them all together. Ben Crump is the lawyer.
I was going to ask you about that. Shout out to attorney Ben Crump. I seen you was at the thing where they named the school after him.
Yeah.
But I know that y'all have been working to make sure that artists get their rights back, which for me, you know, me and Yasin Bey, we have a group Black Star, and so we're fighting to get the rights to Black Star. We never signed those rights to nobody, but this album has been sold illegally for years. And so
Yes.
when I seen the work you was doing with Ben Crump, I just want to thank you for that, brother.
Oh no, we got the band together because the idea is to keep us separated and fighting each other over one reason or another. You know, when all it takes is for us to talk to each other and discuss it.
Yeah.
And figure out what it is that
Yes.
it's gonna take. Because it's hard. This thing is organized for you not to catch on.
That's right. That's right. It's designed for us to not make any money.
Right, and to be babbling at each other. You know, we can do that for fun. That's why we did Let's Take It to the Stage.
Let's take it to the stage.
You know, you got to do that as a joke because we learned
Right.
how to do that when very early in school, your mama.
Right.
That was your protection. Once you learn how to accept somebody talking about you and you can live your life and get over that, then you're cool.
I never heard your mama jokes put quite that way.
Oh, no.
And I appreciate it. You're exactly right.
I mean, it got so deep with us. So, you know, somebody dropped something and make your mama.
Right.
We don't even know who did it or what it was about.
Right.
But it was a reflex.
Right.
But once you got over that and you don't have to kill a sucker because they said it,
Right.
then you can actually think. 'Cause people will push your button. And whatever, and they don't have to be your mama. They know what to say to take you there.
Yeah.
Once you can get around that, it's like dancing your way out of your constriction.
Yes, indeed. I want to thank you as well because I do People's Party and I've been doing it for a few years now. And I've always loved journalism. But the first real interview I ever did was I somehow was hired or asked to do an interview with you for your book that came out. This was 2000 something, a few years back.
They banned it right after that.
They banned the book?
Yeah, I just not too long ago went to court, won the case. Now the book is back out.
One Nation Under a Groove. It's not just a song, it's a philosophy. It's a mantra.
Same one. We are got to be on the one, all at one, because that's all. It's gonna take that.
Yeah.
And we evolving at the same time, so all of us is changing, and we don't know what nature got in our DNA.
That's right.
What we're gonna change too.
That's right.
You look at history, you can see that nothing stays the same, and our thinking process is going under some serious renovation right about now.
That's right.
Reality is debatable. You know, you got virtual reality. You're gonna have AIs, and
Now we have not just the truth, but we have my truth and we have your
Yeah,
truth.
that's what I'm
and
saying.
Your truth. And
all of it.
We all got a different truth.
It's getting an upload, and something is going on, and we just got to be. We can't be so in our feelings that we don't realize that it don't take covered wagons no more. That people fly planes. You know, we might not like it, but we have to be very careful about how we disapprove of anything.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I'm glad I'm up here. I mean, I ain't got to deal with it like that.
Right.
But I imagine I wouldn't want my kids to be as confusing as it seems like it's getting.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to even, you can't be mad at nobody if you, I mean, that's the easy way out. Just pick somebody and just say you did it.
Anger, right.
But you know, you in your feeling, that's human.
Yeah.
In a minute, you're going to be having to partner up with computers, AIs, robots, and all of that is real.
Yeah, you've been speaking on that. Like I said, you were pioneer with Afrofuturism. I feel like you traced that from, you know, the mothership to Cosmic Slop, what Reggie did, like to what you talk about now, to what you were talking about on Synthesizer. Like, it's you've been on
I'm
it.
painting now, and my interest got gravitated to dough guns, you know, and that's your Sirius XM, you know, that's a planet. They say they had that information.
Right.
I
got a new song out with Black Star. I would say the doggone tribe sort of stars without telescopes. When you have no God, you start selling folks.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm paying attention.
But I'm painting the picture for that.
No doubt. No doubt. You just came back from Casablanca for real, right?
Just got back from over there. Yeah. And boy, Humphrey Bogart. Really,
They knew what they was talking about.
They knew what they were talking about.
Now I want to talk to you about another alias, very important alias for hip hop again. And I'm sorry I keep tying you to hip hop, but it's like that's my entry point.
Hip-hop.
You know what I'm saying? Uncle Jam wants you. You got the Dr. Funkenstein producing, You got Uncle Jam on the record. You were here to rescue dance music from the blogs.
From the blogs. You know, you don't want to, you can't get mad at disco because records was good one by one.
Yeah.
But when you put that all together, it looked like they pimped one beat.
Right.
And so we were saying, you know, it ain't bad. Matter of fact, it's good, but not the same one. If it's the same stroke in making love, you can fax that shit in. You know, nobody, you gonna ruin it. So that's all we were saying. Let's, you know, comically rescue dance music from that was Knee Deep.
But it was also, you were leaning into the Huey Newton Black Panther imagery.
Yeah, but
on the record.
I knew that imagery right there was a cool urgency to do something.
And this is intersectional, right? Because it brings in NWA, because Uncle Jam now becomes Uncle Jam's Army.
Uncle Jam's
you
Army.
had your own army.
Yeah.
An army of DJs. Who has an army of DJs?
And that was and Dre.
Yeah.
They came to us and asked us, could they use the name for their club?
Right.
And we said, the army was getting bigger. You know, and that Felipe Wynn was our thrill sergeant. You know, from the Spinners.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man. Uncle Jam, that's where NWA started out. That's their breeding ground.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned not just Knee Deep. Knee Deep, like you said, at this point now, Funkadelic is ubiquitous with the West Coast.
Right.
With the West Coast hip-hop sound. I mean, this is before hip-hop, but this is like the start of West Coast hip-hop, right?
Right.
From X-Clan, Funkin' Lesson, to De La Soul. We just had De La Soul on the stage. Just now asking him about Me, Myself, and I. Rest in peace to Dave Jolicoeur. But De La Soul changed my life with that record. But I mean, Knee Deep, man, I DJ at the club still to right now. And I hardly do a party without playing Knee Deep.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And that's one of the songs that Junie Morrison from the Ohio Players had just joined the group. We did One Nation first and Knee Deep second. And he heard me singing this song that I used to sing a cappella. She did Freak, never missing a beat. She did Freak, not just Knee Deep, she was totally deep when she did Freak with me. He's wanted to record it. I said, man, it's got a 3/4, part that I don't think people can dance to, Round and round the floor, she danced and I love to get away with her. I said, it's 3/4, you can't. He said, it can be arranged, man. He came back with the track. He said, sing it just like you always sing it. And I started singing it and everything fitted perfectly. Wow. And I mean, damn. Then I just took everybody in all the bands, because everybody's on that song.
Yeah.
Everybody.
It's gorgeous.
There's like 50 voices on there.
It's powerful, it's beautiful, it's excellent, it's gorgeous. That record is very long.
Oh, it was 15 minutes.
Right. You were influenced by, is it true you were influenced by Fela Kuti and what Fela was doing?
Oh, yeah. He was over here and he was getting ready to run as president.
Right. The black president.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
His son, Sean Kuti, is on my new record.
Oh, yeah.
And the week we rolled out, we did a video for the song in Ghana. And the week we rolled it out, he got arrested for getting in a fight with a police officer. I was like father, like son.
Oh, my God.
He's out now. He's good, but
yeah. Femi?
No, not Femi. Femi's the older one.
Yeah, okay.
Sean is younger. But I've done a lot of work with Femi. Me and Femi on a record on one of those Red Hot and Riot records. Okay. And I've done shows with him in Europe. Femi's in my music video. Yeah. I did a video, Hostile Gospel with Just Blaze. I flew to Lagos. I filmed the video in Lagos. We filmed the video at the Shrine. And in the video, Femi's performing, and I'm performing on stage with him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm tapped in. Like my son's middle name is Fela.
I've been watching.
No doubt. Let's talk computer games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great record. First solo record. Still got a lot of P-Funk family on it.
Right.
I love free alterations.
Yeah, that was that cloning information that I had.
Yeah.
You can get free design, genetically.
Uh-huh.
Which is what they're doing to all the food now anyway.
That's right.
They're doing it to people. And you can get free alterations, That was our funky version of that.
It's a beautiful record.
Yeah, I like the computer game. And that's when I was realizing that the computer was getting ready to be all that.
Right.
I realized that information and to be able to acquire that quick and manipulate it that was going to be something deep in it. Matter of fact, I did a commercial for Apple.
Okay.
To reinvent.
I'm gonna have to Google that.
How to reinvent yourself.
I think I remember that. This was later, right? This was
Yeah, just a little later.
Yeah, I remember that.
Not the new computer. It was before they had personal computers.
Yeah.
But I felt that was going to be that, and cloning was the two things that I thought was getting ready to be really deep. Already was a Star Trek freak, so I was ready for all this.
I am also a Trekkie. Live long and prosper.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm also a Trekkie. Loopzilla. This record for me as a New Yorker, you shout out New York radio stations.
Yeah.
Yeah, BLS.
I thought out of quite a few city radios.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that hurt the record because each city was jealous of the other city that was shouted out.
There's a record by Puff Daddy and the Lox and Little Kim called All About the Benjamins.
Yeah.
And at this time, Hot 97 was the main thing in hip hop.
Right.
And Puff says on the record, every day, that's my word, on your Hot 97 every day.
It messed you up with your
And yeah, they had to censor that out, so when you hear it in other cities, you don't hear that.
Yeah, right. That's what it was.
But you did that first.
Now they'll play it because it's antique and it's history.
Yeah.
But we did that because we saw what they were looping was getting ready to be the concept with samples.
Yeah.
So we said, we're going to make fun of it.
That's what you were doing.
That's part of my man's best friend.
That's right.
We loop one little part, and we looped it for like 22 minutes or something. Mm-hmm. And we came back and sung all our favorite R&B songs over it.
Yeah. There was no issues with the sample clearance of that?
Oh, no, it wasn't, but second, it was the medley law. The the issues came after the person that was suing people on my song. Mm-hmm. Once they started suing people on anything, they made that sample thing a real bad situation.
Yeah.
And that's why most people don't sample no more.
You've been very fair with the samples. You've made statements saying, go ahead and sample me. You've talked about it continuing a legacy, but you've also been about your paper.
Yeah, no, we can work it out.
Yeah, well, let's work it out.
You can work it out just like you work out somebody covering your song. But the people that was suing on behalf of us wasn't doing that. Mm-hmm. They was getting as much as they could out of it.
Yeah.
And knowing they didn't have to come back and answer to it.
We had Bob James on the show. And, he talked about how he was very upset when he started hearing a lot of these records. And,
they sampled that a lot.
And I could understand that. And what I was explaining to him was, for you, Bob James, who's a white dude in jazz, you seem unattainable. You seem like an alien or some young black kid from the hood who just picking up a dusty record. He don't know the origin of it. No, he don't feel like he can even get in touch with a Bob James. But you stayed in touch with the people.
It's a new reality for kids. They figured out ways to make music. They don't know about the intellectual property.
Yeah.
Of none of that. It was supposed to be up to the business people to not let that happen. But since they didn't have to lose no money, nobody to know.
Yeah.
They just did it with each other. You sample my artist, I'll sample your artist till the law come and get us.
Yeah.
Plus the music went back to the people anyway. You get recaptured, but they want to get paid. My wife telling me, stop talking so much.
we got this info. We got this. We needed this info. We need to get this info. I got a couple more questions. I definitely want to ask about Atomic Dog.
Yeah.
Because Atomic Dog is one of the greatest pieces of music of all time. I mentioned House Party and Menace to Society and What's My Name by Snoop Dogg. But in 2020, you were officially inducted into Omega Sci-Fi because of Atomic Dog as the theme song. This is serious business.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just be doing all the stuff that they be doing without being in the frat, right?
Well, they waited till I was 80, so I can't do the steps now. But no, I was grateful for that a long time ago because they used to invite me to a lot of the conclaves, and but I was glad to become officially a part of it. Mm-hmm. AJ from Atlanta took me in there, and then my brother Ben Crump is one.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm definitely proud to be, and we were getting ready to re-release their version of it in November. And have a
new version.
All hundreds, thousands of them stepping at once.
Man, I love it. I want to thank you for making Smell My Finger.
Oh, that's my boy Prince.
Yeah, man.
It was lovely.
Paisley Park Records.
Yeah, I love working. Paint the White House black.
Man, that record really influenced me as a kid. Rest in peace to MC Breed. Shout out to Cam, Ice Cube, Yo-Yo, Dr. Dre on that.
Chili Peppers.
Yeah, man. You producing for the Chili Peppers, them being on these records. I'm a kid from the 90s, so this was, the Freaky Styley and, Smell My Finger. Smell My Finger and Cinderella Theory, these were on Prince label.
Yeah.
They're not really available like that.
They will be.
They will be.
Yeah.
Okay. We need those. We need that music. I got one more question for you, brother.
Hit me.
What's next for the absolutely iconic, always genuine, legendary George Clinton?
All I can do is stay tuned. Is definitely something getting ready to happen.
Okay.
It's gonna be major. I mean, we're doing lots of recording collabs with a lot of people. A lot of major stuff is getting ready to jump off.
Brother, we love you. We appreciate you. We thank you for your time. We thank you for your energy. I also heard about this trap album, but we'll talk about that off camera.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Reaching for Litness.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
We gonna cut that part out though.
No, that's right. That's cool.
Okay, we can keep that in.
That's cool.
Yeah, man.
That is what I was trying not to say.
I let the cat out the bag. I didn't mean to do it. I'm excited. I'm too excited for new music. Ladies and gentlemen, show your love for the wonderful, amazing George Clinton.